Alrighty, let's see if this is going to cooperate today, unlike last Tuesday. I'm trying to go live right now, and there it goes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, hello, everybody. Hope you're all enjoying your Monday. Hope you've all survived the weekend and the coronavirus. Seems like it's leveling off. So let's just pray to God that it goes away. Well, it'll probably be just like a flu from now on. We're going to hit it every year. We just got to be careful because it is, by all early determination, is much more dangerous than the regular flu. So, but I really believe that that's going to be something we won't really know until they get all the studies in. So I know Stanford came out with one today or yesterday that was pretty good. So you can see it on, it was on, I can't remember where I saw it. I saw it this morning. It was on Facebook Live. It wasn't on Facebook, but one of the channels after that. Basically just saying that the lockdowns are very unnecessary. And there's another comment about people taking the word shelter in place and putting the word lockdown on it, which isn't true. It's not a lockdown. I know businesses are locked down according to the government, but hopefully this is all going to go away pretty soon. We get back to our normalcy of life, just with a new virus that we got to be careful of when it comes around. So that's all I'm going to say about that. My family's safe. I've got one new grandson. Came into the world last week. He's doing well. My grandkids are all doing well. My children are all doing well. And my wife and I have we have a new way of working. She's at home. She has been at home for about, I guess, a month now working. So we spend a lot of time together, and it's actually a lot of good time. We're getting along really well. Yesterday we just hung out around the house, laid out around the pool. Kind of reminded us of when we first got married, just kind of enjoying each other, getting back to the realities of life and the real things that matter, which I hope you're all doing. I hope you're all spending some quality time with your family. I know it's really hard in this world because it's a money-driven world, and it's nice to have money, and it takes money to live. And I don't argue that point. At one point, I made a lot of money myself, but the more important things in life um, are family and family values. And I'm hoping that a lot of you are able to sit with your families and get to know them and get to know your wife and your husband better and your children better. I've always said that when people ask what's wrong with children, I always say parents go look in the mirror. And I know that's not every parent. There's a lot of really good parents out there as well. So, but I think that's the reality of it. And it's no fault of theirs to a certain degree. I mean, they're letting the world navigate what they need to do. So there's just a lot that's going on, and I'm hoping this is just going to set a giant reset on the world about what's really important in life. So today, I'm going to continue with chapter 11, Blame and Shame, Part 3. Blame and Shame, Part 3. I like what Dwight D. Eisenhower says. I put this at the quote at the beginning of this chapter. The search for a scapegoat is the easiest of all hunting expeditions. When we need a scapegoat, all we got to do is look to the left, in front of us, the center, and behind us, and just point our finger at whichever person we want to use as a scapegoat. What was his fault? What do you mean it's his fault? He wasn't even here when it happened, but it's easy to find a scapegoat. It is a very easy. I hunt, and hunting is a very elusive sport, very patient-driven sport. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of patience. So therefore, the scapegoat hunting is much easier. So when we talk about blame and shame, I've been talking about now for the last 2 weeks, and there's a toxic blame, toxic shame. And that's where, we take on this shame that's handed down to us through the perpetrator. And the reality is that the shame never belongs to us, it belongs to the perpetrator. And that toxic shame tells us that we're worthless, we're no good, we're dirty, we're tainted. I should have been able to do something. It's my fault that it happened. If only I'd have been this, and only if I'd done that, it would be different. And then the toxic blame is that we blame ourselves, and that's the worst of it, is we blame ourselves for what happened. But even going from one other point of view, other than that, is we point our fingers at everybody else. And nothing is ever our fault, because God forbid that we look like we made a mistake. Because then we'll just be acknowledging and verifying what our perpetrators had told us for many, many years. Okay. Before I go further, this is the second week I've used this platform on Facebook of their live feed. And up until last week, I was getting quite a few views. Well, for me, it's quite a few, anywhere up to about a half dozen to a dozen, which it's getting there. But last week, and as of right now, I got nobody. So I really don't know if you guys are getting this. And I just got a message from somebody that they can't get it. So I don't know what's happening. I don't really know what's happening right now. So I'm going to take a little break. Bear with me for 1 second. Let me see. Let me see. Can't get it. Okay. Where's my live feed at? So I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why people aren't getting this. So if anybody, I don't know what I'm going to have to do. You know what I'm going to do? It's really frustrating. The other platform worked perfect for me. And now this one, I got people saying they can't get in, they can't get it. I don't understand what it is. So I'm going to ask you to hold on for 1 second. I'm so sorry about this. Well, can you see me get my live feed? I'm running in there. Okay. Can you hear it okay? All right. Well, I don't know. My wife says she can get it, and she's watching it right now. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but this is like I say, this is the second week. This is the second week in a row that so I'm not sure what's going on, but I'll just keep going. It's just the way it's going to be. All right. So let's get back to where I was. If I can find all my paperwork now. I really apologize for this morning, but I don't know what's going on. Okay, so got toxic shame and toxic blame. Okay, so we got to get to a point somewhere where we quit running and quit running from it from anything. The program we say we must quit fighting anything and everybody. So it comes a point to where we must quit running from anything. For a guy like myself, there was so much toxic shame that was woven into the fiber of my being that it didn't take much, and the toxic blame just automatically boiled to the surface whenever my integrity as a man was threatened. My sponsor told me, Randy, he goes, you walk away from every conversation with your integrity intact, leaving the other person's integrity intact. And what he meant by that was that when somebody attacks you verbally, that doesn't give you the right to attack them verbally back. You just walk away. You simply just tell that person, I'm not going to allow you to talk to me this way any longer. And you walk away. You left that person's integrity intact. Where my old way of doing it was that if you attacked me verbally, you didn't know, you just walked into a wasp nest that was a buzzsaw. And by the time I got done with you verbally, you had to reach up to touch bottom. So, it was pretty bad. So, but I no longer do that. I don't tear people's integrity apart anymore. It's not worth it. Just because somebody wants to attack me, it's not about me. It's about them and their own problems. You know, I started seeing my therapist, Deborah, in 2005. It was a year after the affair that I had. I had the affair in 2004. Just about a year later, I started seeing a therapist because I wanted to get things fixed. I wanted to fix myself, right? When I first started seeing Deborah, my therapist, of course, I blamed everything about the affair on my wife. It was all Kathy's fault. That's why I had the affair. Well, she wasn't intimate enough for me. She wasn't intimate enough for me. She did not give me enough attention. She did not, whatever. When I look back at the year before the affair, I wouldn't have loved a person like me either. It came to me about 2 years into recovery. I just looked and said, man, why? I wanted her to love me all these certain ways, but I didn't love myself. I wouldn't have loved me the way I was. I was terrible. I was mean. I was rotten. I was, not good at all. Yeah, Kathy from Valley. Hi, Valerie. Good to see you. Sorry, I had my notes covering you up. Guys, we're going to get this Facebook thing worked out sooner or later. I promise you. It's just a new platform that they have, and I don't know what it's all about yet. So, Deborah told me that while Kathy definitely had her part in the affair, and in fact, I remember the first time Kathy sat down with us, I thought it was going to be, okay, Kathy, get ready because here it comes. You're going to hear everything you did wrong. And in fact, it was just the opposite. In a subtle way, Deborah looked at us both and says, now, Kathy, I want you to understand one thing right up front, that you have a 50% responsibility in this affair. She kind of looked dumbfounded as well as I did. And it's like you learn in recovery that we have a part of everything that happens in our life, with the exception of being abused. Okay. That was, as a child, we have no control over. Okay. So we had to start looking at the part we each had in the affair. A lot of mine was because of the toxic shame, which I didn't know at that point in time because I just thought I was living life as it was supposed to be lived. The toxic shame had taken over my life. So here's the thing that happens with all this stuff is, a lot of people go, well, I wasn't thinking about it, Randy. No, you weren't thinking about it. How could you be thinking about it? It's at a subliminal level. You've been acting this way for so long that all you know how to do is act the way you're acting. It's just ingrained in you. You don't think anything's wrong. You don't think anything's different. Matter of fact, most of the people around you are pretty much acting the same way. And so, you think you're okay. until somebody wiser than us comes along and says, you might want to think about the way you're treating your wife or treating friends or the way you're talking to people. Let's put on a different pair of glasses and look at it from a different perspective. I entered the fair because I couldn't understand how Kathy, this is the truth of the matter, this is why I had the affair. The only thing Kathy was guilty of, the only thing that she was really guilty of, was loving me unconditionally. And that's why I entered the affair. I couldn't understand why Kathy could love a flawed and tainted person like myself. Even though I had given her everything she had dreamed of, kids, a house, success, the cars. I mean, we were living the American dream. But yet I still felt dirty, tainted, and flawed. But contrary to all that evidence, I just knew that Kathy was going to have the affair and leave me because of my stinking thinking that I wasn't good enough for her and that nobody. Yeah, Kathy, what comments? I see them all. So type in there what comments you're talking about. Oh, okay, never mind. I got it. Yeah, thanks, Valerie. So I'm having problems with this. So excuse me today and all this stuff. I know I keep saying I'm sorry, but Kathy's. There was no evidence at all that Kathy was going to leave me. And it's funny that I've talked to several men and several people that here I am pointing the finger at Kathy for having an affair and cheating on me and leaving me and so on and so forth. And I've talked to other men that have done the same thing, and their wives indeed, there's number one, no evidence. And number two, their wives weren't doing it. But who is the person doing it? The one accusing of it. It's like they say, you point your finger at someone, there's three more pointing back at you. So you got to remember that. You got to remember that. So because I didn't want to feel the pain of another loved one leaving me, I lost my father when I was 12. My grandmother died, who was my archangel. She was just the love. She was a matriarch of our family. And then my grandfather died, who I can remember even as an adult going over there and he'd grab a hold of my cheeks and, boy, I love you. And he'd just give me a whisker burn, man. And I mean, I could smell the Old Spice on him. And it was just, I'll never forget that. And then when he passed away. So I had all these people leaving me in life. I'd gone through one divorce and I figured, well, it's about that time. I might as well get ready for another one to leave me. It's called self-sabotaging because she had no intention. I figured that if I left her for another woman, I thought that would solve all my problems. But remember, here's the biggest deal with all this is that wherever we go, there we are. Wherever we go, there we are. Okay, so we can't run from ourselves. Most of the problems we create in our life are created in our head. The toxic shame that had consumed me was destroying every relationship in my life. And I mean every relationship in my life. I was pushing people away left and right. Over the course of that first year with Deborah, I worked on snippets of issues stemming from my abuse. But I mostly worked on issues that were related to the affair. And here's the important part that you got to understand. At that same time also, I was drinking and drugging, and more than I would let on to Deborah. This is very important. Until I could resolve those addictions, I couldn't do the really deep work. And so if you're trying to do this work and you're still getting high and you're still drinking, you're going to have to quit one of the two because it's not going to happen. Because the alcohol and the drugs is just going to keep you stuck in that victim mode. Every time things go wrong and you're going to dive into that stuff and then instantly you're going to fall back into the victim mode. It's painful and it's hard to work through this stuff without the drugs. But to truly heal, you can't be getting high. You can't be getting drunk. It defeats the purpose. You need to do this with a sober mind. You need to do this and you need to feel the feelings that you've been stuffing away for all your life. It doesn't work. I mean, here you go again, running and stuffing the feelings that you've been hiding all your life. And I understand because there's so much so much harm that happens over a period of a lifetime. Well, it was happened, 30 years ago, Randy. Just get over it. Move on with your life. Forget about it. Forget, and move on. I don't know what the big deal is, Um, all those things we hear. We don't have anybody sitting down with us that's listening to us, that's hearing what we're saying, hearing our pain, that's understanding us, you know. And that's the thing is we need to be able to feel these feelings as uncomfortable as it is. And I know it's uncomfortable because I've been there and I've done that. What we do is we live in this sea of uncomfortableness. I call it a sea of diversity. And it's got love in there. It's got happiness. It's got peace. It's got a lot of turmoil. It's got a lot of pain. It's got a lot of hate. It's got a lot of anger. It's got a lot of stuff in it. And it's uncomfortable. It's a sea of uncomfortableness. But the problem is we get so comfortable living in that sea of uncomfortableness. And why do we get comfortable there? Because we learn how to navigate it. We learn how to work through it. We learn how to hide our feelings. We learn how to get away from different things as we need to. So then when we start this new journey and we start facing our feelings head on without anything to numb or do away with our feelings, it's uncomfortable. And so we might start this journey saying, okay, I'm done. I'm going to start this journey. I'm going to start working on this stuff. And then so, a lot of people say, well, I got over it. I dealt with it. I got over it. Well, look, we can't deal with it. We can't get over it. We can't go around it. You've been doing that all of your life through different modalities, through you name it. I'm not, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be pornography, it could be food, it could be shopping, it could be Satanism, it could be Buddhism, it could be, there's a whole lot of stuff it could be. But the one thing you're not doing is you're not walking through it. Tell the people we walk through, we're gonna have to walk through a lot of pain and shame one more time in order for you to truly heal. And look at me. But that's the truth of the fact. We got to face it head on. Because we don't face it head on, we don't get to the roots of our situations, of our problems, they're never going to go away. If we don't know what is causing the why, we're doomed. We're doomed. I'm not saying it's easy. So what happens is that we're in the sea of diversity and we start walking out towards the sunlight of the spirit in this new world, and it gets uncomfortable because we're feeling feelings we haven't felt for a long time. It gets really uncomfortable. So what do? Step back into the what we're comfortable at. And for some people that can be a dance, in and out, in and out. I mean, they're not going back and getting high. They're not doing stuff like that, but they're just being stuck in this bad behavior. It's an in and out dance, okay? And the deal is that in and out dance is going to get very tiring. And so hopefully the out dance, part of the dance, gets a little bit farther down the trail, and you don't quite make it all the way back into that sea of diversity. And pretty soon, the sea of diversity is there, and you look at it as a reminder of how you once were. Towards that end of the first year for myself, because of the drugs and the alcohol, Deborah was urging me to get help. She said, you need to go to Betty. Oh, actually, she said, here's the way it went exactly. You need to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, no. I'm not one of them Alcoholics Anonymous people. I don't live underneath the bridge. I'm not a bum. I'm not this. I'm not that. Right. And she urged me for, I think, 2 weeks on that. I think the third week she says, and I quit drinking. And then she started urging me to do this stuff after I quit drinking. I had my last drink was February 5th, 2006. About the third week, she says, Randy, if you don't want to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, boy, she was clever. Why don't you go to Betty Ford? And they said they got a great outpatient program over there, so you won't have to miss work or anything like that. And my thinking, I'm being honest here, this is just pure honesty. My thinking was this: I can do that because I'm one of those special people. Well, I'll let you know this, is that I was working with a lot of the special people and just didn't know it in the real world. Matter of fact, my wife and I is one of our best friends. We raised our kids together. We coached together. We did things together, a whole lot of stuff together. Okay, a whole lot of stuff together. And I didn't know that he was at that point like 25 years sober. I didn't even know it. He was crazier than a Looney Tune. He was crazier than I was. But he was sober and we had fun. So the thing about drugs and alcohol, right? It doesn't matter who you are. You could be in the penthouse on Wall Street right now, and tomorrow you could be in the gutter. It happens that quick and that easy. So just because you got this title and you're at the top of your game, don't think that you're hiding something and that something's going to come up and trigger you and you're going to be able to handle it. Because I guarantee you, there's things in your life. I'm not saying everybody. I know I'm speaking general terms, but there's things in people's life that they can't keep hiding forever. See, even though I went to Betty Ford, I was still burdened by a tremendous amount of anger and rage. And I've been told all my life I had no right to have. Now, anger is okay. Rage is the result of repressed anger. But I've been told all my life I have no right to be angry. Look where you live. You grew up in Dana Point. You go to the beach whenever you want. Look at all the things you got. You have no right to be angry, Randy. So that kept me stuck as well. My healing really went to the next level when both of my counselors at Betty Ford, my addiction counselor was Melissa, my spiritual counselor Greg, told me that not only was it all right to be angry at God and Jack, but I had an absolute right to be angry at what had happened to me. Every time I talked in group about my abuse, I would always end it by laughing. I can remember one day Melissa looked at me and goes, "Randy, why are you laughing?" She said, "What happened to me was not a laughing matter." But I was totally unaware that I'd been laughing. And I see people do this all the time. And they've even asked me, "Randy, why do I do this?" And it's a built-in defense mechanism that somewhere along the line we developed. All right, so we laugh about it, even though it's a serious type thing. In other words, I had walls up that I didn't even know about. I didn't even know I had all these walls up around my life. But the safer, more validated I felt, the more I talked. And the more I talked, the faster those walls came down. I felt really safe at Betty Ford with the people I was with. And eventually I stopped laughing and instead I started crying. I used to tell Kathy, "I don't want to cry, Kathy." And she'd go, "Why?" I says, "Because if I start crying, I will never stop." And what happened was it was a toxic shame that kept me from showing my emotions for 30 plus years. So imagine having these 30 plus years of emotions pent up inside of one person, right? I had the emotions that were around my father's death, I'd been told to get over. The ruthless physical beatings I had endured from Jack, and all my emotions of feeling worthless and less than a man came pouring out of me. There was a group session I just finished writing a brief letter to my father. And as I walked in there, I started crying, trying to hold my tears, holding a book up over my head, and I couldn't. And I was crying pretty good. And Melissa walked in and goes, "Go, Randy, go." And then it poured. I mean, it was like the clouds opened up, and I started sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. And they excused me to go outside, and or asked if I wanted to go outside, and I says, "Yeah." So I went outside by the back door, and I sat down on a bench. And the spiritual counselor, Greg, he showed up. He came out there, and he sat down next to me. And all he did at first, he just barely lightly touched my shoulder and says, "Randy, if you need me, I'm here." And he just sat there for another 20, 25, 30 minutes. It just let me cry. And when I was ready to talk, I would talk a little bit to him, and I would cry some more. And then I would talk. So for the first time in my life, I was actually allowing my emotions to run through me without trying to dam them up or numb them down with drugs, alcohol, or work. I cried that night until I had no more tears. And I had a trick. I have a real easy way that I can cut off my tears. I haven't used it probably since right before that. It was real easy. It didn't involve nothing except a move of my head. Now I've cried since then, but not like that, because I'm not harboring tears anymore. Those feelings that have been inside of me for decades, and although those tears hurt, the relief felt great. There's healing and crying. There's healing in tears. And from that point on, I wasn't faking my way through life anymore. I wasn't running from anything. I wasn't desperate to hide my shame from others. And believe me, what I do, when I first started doing this and started speaking publicly, it was tough. You see, I'm coming from a point of healing, of hope and healing. But at first, that didn't mean that the shame wouldn't come up. Oftentimes on the way home, or maybe the next day, I would feel a little bit of shame about exposing myself to what had happened to me. But I'd be able to work it through because I knew what I was doing was helping other people. And I knew that with 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 boys being sexually abused before the age of 18, a lot of people need help. My feelings were finally validated, and not only by my addiction counselor, but more importantly, by my spiritual counselor. Because you see, growing up in that church I grew up in, they discounted all my feelings. You have no right to feel that way. Who do you think you are? Oh, it never happened to you. But there still was a lot more for me to do. The whole time I was in treatment at Betty Ford Center on an outpatient basis, I continued to work with my therapist. And when I need to, I still see her today. But I can tell you, I was with her for 7 years, 2 days a week. I was going to AA. This is my journey. I was going to AA 6-7 days a week, 10 to 15 meetings a week. I was being of service at a lot of those meetings. I had mentors. I had three really good mentors in AA. Really good mentors in AA. They didn't pretend that they could help me with my sexual abuse, but they helped me with everything else that went on in life. And the worst thing you can run across is some sponsor or mentor in Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, whatever it is, thinking they can help you if you've been sexually abused when they have no experience of being abused or have never received any treatment for it. The big book says you cannot transmit something you have not got. So you got to be really careful who you're working with. Even when it comes to therapists, a lot of therapists can do more damage than good. Okay? You got to remember that recovery is a marathon, not a sprint, which means it will which means that I'll be working on it for the rest of my life. And I continue to work on it today. I continue to do my research so I can help others. I continue to help others. My wife and I work with couples. We do a lot of good healing work with people. We've seen a lot of lives change for the better. We've been there when they struggled, when they thought they weren't going to make it through. So the help is there. You just got to want it. You got to be willing to do the work. And you got to be willing to walk through the hard stuff and not run from it and not cover it up with drugs or alcohol. You're okay. Whatever happened to you in your past, whatever it was, isn't who you are. It doesn't define you. It's something that just happened to you. And it used to define me all the time. So next week we'll continue with part 4. We'll end this session with part 4. And then after that, we got 2 more great chapters. One is the next one's going to be forgiveness. And then the last one is going to be finding your authentic self. So they're both really, really good chapters. And then we'll be done with healing the wounded man within, and we'll move on to something other than that. I'm also, just so you all know, I'm launching my podcast. I'll be putting on my first podcast tonight. Just be an introduction about who I am. And then after that, we're going to do weekly things about recovery, about life, spirituality, drugs, alcohol abuse, family, the whole 9 yards. This is going to be a great podcast. I want to talk about a lot of different things. And so if you can join in on that, I'll post it, or it'll go out on Facebook and Spotify. And then it's also going to be going over to iTunes, I believe, and somewhere else. So I'm still working on that part of it. So I hope you can join me there. I hope you all join me next week. Hey, remember, I do life coaching. Visit my webpage, changeyourlifestorynow.com. Kathy and I are SYMBIS certified facilitators, and that is a phenomenal tool to use, even if you've been married for several years, or if you're a newlywed. It's called SYMBIS, stands for Save Your Marriage Before It Starts. Save your marriage before it starts. But the married couples that are doing it, it's really helping them get an insight of why they are doing the things the way they do. It's not a psychological type thing. It's more of just a life type thing, and how you align with everyday stuff that we go through as couples. So we do that, and marriage counseling as well. It's all kind of combined, or we just do one-on-one counseling. Kathy will work with women. Kathy will work with women. I work with the men. Addictions, abuse, inner healing, and spiritual healing. So visit our webpage, changeyourlifestorynow.com. Just put a note in the contact form and let me know what you want to talk about. We do several different types of sessions. We got one-on-one sessions one time. We got different packages, 3 different packages as well that we can do. Okay. So remember, we all struggle. We all struggle with something. So we're not all immune from it. So you can't do it alone. So, what are you waiting for? Just reach out and let's see if there's any way I can help you. Okay. Remember my book, Healing the Wounded Child Within. It's on Amazon. It's on paperback, Kindle, and audiobook. You can pick it up there. I think Kindle might be free. I'm not sure. But anyway, so there's 3 different ways you can get it. I also have, that's Healing the Wounded Child Within. I also have the 30-day devotional to wholeness, which is a great little devotional for couples or singles. It doesn't really matter. Everybody has gotten it, absolutely loves it. The key to it is there's 3 contemplative questions at the end of each devotion. So, and also the 7-day challenge, which is a really simple 7-day workbook for healing the wounded child within. Visit our website, thecourageoushealers.org, please. If you'd like to make a one-time donation or be a monthly contributor, visit our website and click on the Donate Now tab. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and all your contributions are tax deductible. Hey, look, we can't do this alone. We can't keep it going. We're really working on expanding the foundation, getting to more conferences, getting more workshops put together. There's a lot we want to do. So, but we can't do it alone. We need your help, and your support on this is great, but we really, really could use some financial help. It doesn't matter if it's a $10 monthly donation, $5 monthly donation, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50. It doesn't matter what it is. We appreciate all of it. Look at it. We get $10 donations. That's $200 a month. I mean, we'll take that. So, and all the money goes to the foundation. It does not go to mine or Kathy's expenses at all. It's 100% goes into the foundation. If you donate $60 or more, I'll send you a signed copy of my book, Healing the Wounded Child Within, and a copy of my 30-day devotional, The Wholeness. Now, we've developed a upcoming workshop series. It's called Unmasking Yourself 2020. We've already done the first one, communication workshop. It was great. We had, 10 people showed up to that, which was perfect for where we're at. We're hoping to like double that as we go. Also on that one alone, we're talking to some people right now. We got some people that weren't able to make it the first time. They're really interested in it, so we're going to look into doing a webinar workshop on communication again. But on June 13th, we got the workshop called Journey to You. Our behaviors are naturally passed down from generation to generation. This workshop will explore some of those generational behaviors that have been handed down to us, and we'll explore ways to recognize these patterns, both good and bad. And we will provide tools and methods to remove and replace those behaviors that we inherited. That's on June 13th. September 20th. September 12th, we have Secrets and Silence, and that's going to be another really good one about the secrets and silence that we're holding on to that are keeping us stuck and God knows what. And then on December 5th, right before Christmas, we will have Forgiveness, which is going to be a phenomenal workshop as well. It'll give you a lot of understanding what forgiveness is and what it isn't. There's a lot of misconceptions about forgiveness. So you can go to, I'm going to put the link over here. Put the link in the comment box. Okay, you can go to this link, check out all the workshops, and you can even sign up on that link right away. You can sign up on it, and then we're planning on having it's in June, be the next one. If for some reason we can't do it because of this Corona thing, which I'm fully believing and trusting in God that's going to be past us, we're going to be able to do this, even if we got to wear masks. That's okay. But if you sign up and for some reason we can't, your money will be refunded, or we'll just hold on to it until we can have the workshop. I'll leave that option up to you. So don't worry about signing up and then not having the workshop and not getting your money back. That's not going to be a problem at all. I'll make sure you get your money back. Okay. So visit the website, check out the workshops, and sign up. Don't wait. We look forward to seeing you. There's going to be a really powerful workshop. It's going to wake you up to a lot of things that are happening in your life. Okay. So that's it for this week, guys. I really appreciate you stepping up, joining in. Couldn't do this without you. I'm going to continue this as long as God wants me to do it. All righty. Remember, nobody tells you they love you today. Randy does, but more importantly, God does. And be blessed, everybody. Have a good week. And I don't know what's going on with this wacky computer. It's going all over the place. Love you all. Talk to you later. Bye.